Hey, this is aleckermit. This is going to be an impromptu tutorial on how to run Agent Under Fire, any percent category. This is going to go over all the time savers that I know about. This game has a lot of time savers, a lot of small time savers. It's not like Nightfire or some of the other Bond games with large skips. Instead, you just have a lot of small time savers and optimizations that add up to a good bit of time in the end. The two largest time savers in any percent save only about, I guess the biggest time saver saves about 15 seconds, and then there are a few that save 10 seconds, and then a lot of like 5s, 3s, 2s, 1s. So if that sounds like your type of game where you enjoy optimization and squeezing out like every second possible, this is definitely a game you should check out. If you're more into out of bounds and game breaking stuff, then you might want to look elsewhere. So when deciding to play this game, you have three choices for which console you play it on. It is fastest on GameCube for various reasons. Specifically the Black Label GameCube version, not the Player's Choice version. This is because it has this explosion boost physics exploit in it, just like in Quake, where you can explode off of a grenade or a rocket launcher, and you can gain height and speed. It was patched in Player's Choice. It also works in the Xbox version, non-Platinum Edition, but GameCube is still better because you have 2 to 4 seconds faster loading times every time you enter a load zone over Xbox and PS2, and you also get these nice notches in your control stick, so that allows you to move around a little bit more accurately. Because this is timed in real time, GameCube saves a lot in those loads, but for ILs, Xbox is just as fast. PlayStation 2, however, not a single version that was released on that console has explosion boosting, so you're pretty limited with that version of the game. Also, the PlayStation 2 version does not allow you to switch difficulty on the fly before each mission, and that is actually used at one point in any percent in order to get golden armor for the last 3 levels, which greatly improves your chance of surviving the last 3 levels. So you've got the game booted up, and before you play, you want to go into Options and go to Controller Setup. I recommend going with Control Setup 3. It is the most modern control setup. It just feels very natural for me and everyone else I know who's tried to speedrun this game. You just move with the left stick, look with the right stick, and then the other layouts feel pretty natural. An interesting thing about this game is that you do not move faster by strafing, so holding directionally up or left. That doesn't give you any increase in speed over just moving up, down, left, or right. In fact, with this control setup, you actually move slower moving diagonally, so you want to avoid doing that. If you choose to play one of these like older control setups where you split the looking and the moving between the two sticks, you can actually move diagonally without losing speed, but you still don't gain speed. So I recommend just choosing this more natural control setup and just avoiding moving diagonally as much as possible, instead doing all of your angle changes with the C stick. Next up, you want to go down to Heads Up Display and make sure that's set to always on. This allows you to keep an eye on your health at all times, and it also allows you to use the health bar wheel or any part of the heads-up display as an on-screen reference to align for certain tricks. There's one spot in the run where I use it as a reference point, but I'm sure in the future it'll become useful for more tricks. So we're going to jump into the first level now, and we're going to play on Operative for all but one level in any percent. Obviously, you want to mash through the cutscenes. As soon as you gain control, switch to your claw shot. and go up this way. Now, as you approach this hole, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The fastest way to get through this crawl space hole is as soon as you start falling down, hold down on the control stick, and as soon as you touch the ground underneath you, press the crouch button and hold it. And this will make it to where you'll start to have your normal running speed for just a moment before you start crouching, and you'll retain some of that speed as you crouch backwards, and you'll slide out the hole a little faster than if you were to just hold crouch until you hit the ground. Also, you can activate most of the switches and doors and buttons in this game by just holding the action button. You don't have to mash to get them as soon as possible. Here you just want to turn to the right, hold up left, get out your Q laser, and as soon as you touch the ground, press jump, and you'll jump over the silver desk directly towards the stairs where the lock is. So here's the first example of a trick called wall sliding. You angle bond at about 45 degrees against a wall, and you just run along it, and this gives you a really small speed increase over just going straight. And in this level, which has the most amount of wall slides in it, it saves about 3 to 4 seconds. So it's a real small time saver, but this game, like I said, is full of just really small time savers, and you want to do as many of them as possible. So wall sliding is a really easy way to save a little bit of time here and there.
Fireworks.
Here you want to go backwards because it's faster than turning all the way to the right to get a wall slide. You want to kill one of these guys if you can. That'll protect your health a little bit because you do want to have only 2 bars missing when you enter this section. If you have 3 bars missing, you have about a 50% chance of dying on the upcoming trick. So you can take that chance if you want to. But if you have 4 bars missing and you want to do this upcoming trick that saves 10 seconds, just reset. So switch to your laser and then back to your gun to get the laser ready. You can activate this elevator button from outside. Actually mess that up a little bit. You're supposed to hit the button, go inside the elevator, and then crouch and go out the right side. But I got a little hung up there. So this upcoming trick, it's the first explosion boost in the game, one of 2 that you use to save time in any percent. And what we're basically going to do is boost off of a barrel, land on one of 2 pieces of invisible wall, and then jump to the second piece of invisible wall, which is slightly higher, and then jump from that to the side of the submarine where we can cut Zoe's lock. And this saves us from having to walk all the way around the perimeter of the submarine bay, and it saves about 10 seconds. Now this is one of the harder tricks in the game, so if you don't want to get stuck here for a while, just leave this trick out until you get better at the game, and then you can come back and add this in later. But I do recommend doing it because 10 seconds is a lot of time in this speed run. So I'm going to explain this as I go.
Got to get on that submarine, 007.
So you want to head towards these set of boxes, and you see the gap that's between these 3 boxes. Head towards that open gap while aiming down with your gun until it's aimed all the way down. And then jump onto the box and move over towards the barrel. And you want your aiming reticle to just barely be on the barrel, on its back edge. Then you want to jump and not immediately, but after you've jumped up a little bit, press the fire button, and this will boost you, and then you just hold forward, and you'll land on the lower invisible wall piece. And you'll notice that you will be holding forward, but you won't be falling into the water ahead of you, because that slightly taller invisible wall piece, it's kind of set up like this. Here's the lower piece, here's the upper piece. Or I guess it would be reversed at this angle, from left to right. So you're kind of like you're here, pressing up against this upper part, and then what you're going to do from there is press jump and then just barely press forward so that you land on the back edge of this invisible wall piece. You want to do that because you need a little bit of a running start before you jump in order to make the distance to land on the submarine. And where you're aiming is at this one vertical railing piece, and you'll see it. It's pretty obvious when I get up there where I'm trying to jump to. If you jump too far to the right, you won't land on anything. Too far to the left, and it's too far away to land. So, all right, here we go. So look down, get on the edge of this barrel. Oop. So I'm taking a little too long, that's why I'm dying. Or maybe I don't have enough health. Let's. Oh. I opened my browser. There we go. So we're on the lower piece. We hopped up to the upper piece, but moved forward a little bit too much. So I backed up real quick. And then I jumped to the sub. I'll do it one more time for you. So I'm pressing fire a little too early. That's why I'm dying. I'm taking too much damage. So press fire a little bit later and you can see I lived. So lower piece, bigger piece, jump, cut the lock. And with practice, that will not be difficult for you. I got to the point where I could do it about 50% of the time in attempts. So we got a 140 in that level, but what you're really looking for is about a 135, 136. That's a decent time. 134 is great. 133 is pretty rare. That's the current IL world record. Dogs. So this next level is completely on rails, but there are ways to save time and lose time. You'll also notice that this level is running a little bit slower than usual, and this is because it's just really demanding on CPU and GPU. I'm playing on Dolphin. So even though I destroyed this helicopter very fast, Zoe is still going to swerve left and right as if she's dodging its rockets. So don't let it fool you into thinking that it matters how fast you destroy that helicopter, because it doesn't. So one thing to keep in mind, first of all, you don't want to send a car ahead of you into your line of driving, right? So if you're about to pass a car on the right, you don't want to shoot out its right tires because it will swerve towards you. So just be mindful of that. Also, you'll notice the more random you are with your kind of play around during these moments in the earlier part of the level, you'll notice that your luck is also more random. Like Zoe might drive into the back of a car, or she might get stuck against some rickshaws. So just make sure whatever you do, do it the same way every time, and you'll always get the same good luck, and you won't collide into stuff like that. just find like one play around that you like to do and just do it every time, as long as it keeps you from having collisions or getting stuck. So there have been no time sensitive moments yet, but the first one's coming up in a little bit.
James, there's a roadblock ahead.
Turn left here, Zoe.
So here comes the first time sensitive moment. You want to have your assault rifle out and aim at the top of these like fruit stand boxes. I'll do it one more time for you so you can get the reference point. So at the top line of these boxes, and then just start shooting. And with that angle, which is about 45 degrees or so, it's super easy to eyeball. You'll just start shooting the barrels ASAP. Sometimes this blue car will drive faster here than normal, and it'll actually give you a back boost as you go over this like park area. It's pretty rare, but it does save a tiny bit of time, but I have no idea what causes it, so it might just be totally random. Also, sometimes Zoe will drive into these rickshaws, and that's probably wastes a couple seconds. Again, I don't know what causes it, but like I said, if you kind of play the same way every time in this level, it just won't happen to you. So this guy on the corner, if you kill him, you will drive straight instead of taking a right here. But you don't want to do that because it's slower. So wait till you take this corner, and then you can take him out if you want to. At this point, you want to get out your rocket launcher, and you want to keep your aim slightly to the left. This will make it to where, after this cutscene coming up, you'll be pointing directly at the two cars that you need to destroy. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not touching anything except for the fire button, and I'm just going to spam it. At least for like the first 3 shots. And then I aim at the car on the right. So it, like, the reticle automatically jumps to the right even after the 3rd shot. So you don't have to press anything except for the fire button. And then here you want to turn to the left to avoid the lag of the gas station blowing up. And one thing I'll explain real quick about lag in this game. So the on-foot levels use the Quake 3 Arena engine, and when there's lag, it doesn't slow the game down. Instead, it skips frames, so the game keeps running at full speed. So you don't have to worry about lag in the on-foot levels. But in these levels, which use the Need for Speed engine, lag is lag. So you don't want to look at really busy scenes. So that's one, you want to keep your vision a little to the left, and there's another one coming up that you want to avoid looking at. So at this point, get out your assault rifle and zoom in, and as soon as those 2 guys spawn in front of the glass, you can shoot the 2 panes of glass out, and then switch back to your rocket launcher. And right here is a 5-second time saver if you can pull it off. What you're going to do is look to the left and slightly up, and as soon as you reach those first stairs, fire the rocket, and if you do this within like a 1/4 of a second time span, it'll hit that explosive canister in the back, blow it up, and your car will just go full speed through the first part of the building. And yeah, it saves 5 seconds. If you shoot it a little bit too late, your car will slow down. You won't get the time saver, but you'll have taken out the gas canister. If you shoot too early, It's kind of dangerous because the car will stop and you'll essentially soft lock the game. So you don't want to do that. So let's see what we can do. I think I got it. Nope, I missed. I do not get this consistent, by the way, so don't feel bad if you have trouble with this trick. I don't consider it mandatory whatsoever. Nope. Okay, that should work. So notice how the car just goes. Just keeps on going. Now here's what it looks like if you just blow it up normally. You'll see the car comes to a stop. And then it picks up again. So again, not something I would reset over at all, but it's nice if you can practice this and get it, you know, somewhat consistent. So right here, there's a lot of stuff going on the right, lots of lag, so keep your vision to the left. The red switch up here needs to be shot, so get your assault rifle out for this, and just start shooting as soon as you see it. It's not actually breakable until like a few moments after it's visible, so just keep your reticle on it until it breaks. And then here you have to press up and to the right, can't hold it, because you can't hold a direction during that cutscene. And after you break that cable, that's the last thing in the level you have to do.
Hurry, James, this whole place is blowing up.
Head to the dock, Zoe. We'll get my car.
Thought you'd never ask.
Dropping some frames, sorry about that. So we got a 354, a 352 is a good time, 348 with the 5-second time saver is about as fast as you can get. So next up is Dangerous Pursuit. This time we get to control the car.
The Q-branch briefcase that contains the vials is equipped with a locating beacon 007. The arrow on your radar will enable you to track.
The first little thing you can do to save time is cut this corner here. So this is just like a race to the van that needs to be pulsed. This is a spicy burp. So right here, you want to pick up a Q pulse that's on the right here as you turn right. That'll be your second Q pulse, but you want it because it's a backup, so you can actually use a fast strat on the van, and if you fail the fast strat, you have a backup pulse to use. Excuse me. Failing the fast strat only wastes a few seconds, but sorry. But getting it saves like 5 seconds, so it's worth doing. I'm gonna hit this car, just warning you. Bonk. I was reaching for the space bar to press pause, and my hand was not in the right place. So I didn't turn in time. You also want to pick up this Q booster and switch to it. And cut through these two trees. You don't want to cut this corner any sharper because all the vehicles in this level are random and it's very inconsistent to go far left. You'd never know if there's a car there in your blind spot. But if you go between those two trees, you're pretty much always safe. So we're going to use the booster as soon as we pass through these two things here, right there. Use it, switch to the pulse, start using the pulse here. And great, we got it. If we didn't get it, we would just continue left as the van does and then use the pulse again. So here, as soon as you pulse the van, you can press pause and you can go down to quit mission. And this skips having to wait for the camera to slowly pan around your car. And this is the only spot in the game where you can quit out after getting mission success. So it saves some real time to do this. 54 is a great time for that. Alright, last level of this part of the tutorial, Bad Diplomacy. It's a great speedrun level. And there's a couple ways to start this level. You can do it the way I do it, where you walk onto the stairs and just jump onto this ledge. Don't shoot the light, shoot him. So you just jump onto this ledge and then hop over the railing, kill him and continue. Or what I recommend is to actually practice the better strat, which is where you jump onto the stairs and jump from the stairs over the railing, like so. Like that. And that's a little bit faster. Try it one more time, a little smoother. Yeah, something like that. When you're in the elevator, switch to the claw shot and switch back to the gun. Avoid this cutscene because it wastes real time. Switch the claw shot as you're jumping through this window. If you land on this balcony and walk into this window frame just right, you can actually avoid having to like spend time jumping in here. But I find it kind of inconsistent for any percent. You want to hold right here and then use your C stick to like aim left to avoid that wall partition. And then for block, you just want to mash the fire button until you get 2 shots in him, and then walk over and pick up his briefcase.
Despite our recent setback in Hong Kong, our plans will not be disrupted.
And then jump between these 2 display cases. Open the elevator, then shoot this guy. If you don't have any ammo left at this point, it's not a big deal. There is one more guard coming up, but you can just walk around him if you need to. Just like this. And you should get like a 105 and 106 with practice. Obviously my time was a little slower because I was explaining some things. But yeah, that takes care of part 1 of this tutorial. Hope you learned some cool stuff. And I'll be back with part 2 in the days ahead. Thank you for watching.